questions for Minnesota head coach Ben Johnson.
Ben, how did it feel just to be able to play a team like Michigan State that you already played before, and you know how close it was back in East Lansing, but to pull this one out?
Yeah, no, I think first off, I want to thank our fans, man. I thought they just rose to the level. I thought our student section was awesome. I mean, I think it was packed through the roof. They brought the energies. They set the tone. I was texting with a friend as I was walking in, and I just said there's a different type of buzz. I just felt it. There was a line of people waiting to get in, and people are yelling at me, and there was a different energy today from the very start, and just can't thank them enough. Like it impacts winning so much more than I think they even realize. But the energy they brought, I mean, it definitely carried us in the second half. There's no question about it. I mean, there's times in timeouts I'm getting mad at the guys, but they said they messed up coverages because they can't hear. Well, that's a good problem. So first, credit to them, appreciate them, and that's a really good team. Obviously, Biz is a guy that I've known since 10th grade, have the most respect for in the world, and he makes you better. When you're preparing and you're watching film on their team and just how they get better throughout the year, he makes me better, he makes our guys better, and I think that's what you saw. Like, our guys knew they had to be on it today if we had a chance to win, and I thought our defensive effort was phenomenal. I think they're averaging like 75, and to hold them to 56, and to win a toughness game, and to win ugly, and to win with your defense, that was phenomenal.
And you've talked about how fearless Cam is. What moments in particular jump out to you as examples of that tonight?
Just everything he does, but I've seen it. Like, I've seen it in high school. Like, he's one of those guys, when you see it, you know it, and not everybody has that innate kind of instinct to them, but he does. Whatever that it is, like, he's got that, just not fear the moment, isn't scared to fail, wants the ball, wants the shot. Obviously this came out, he won't admit it, but it's probably a little personal to him, just with his brother, and the fact that, I thought last game he was going to have a hell of a game. I could just tell he had juice, and he got in that foul trouble, and I know it's been eating at him since last game. But he's a stud, and rose up and hit a couple big shots that we needed. But I think his confidence and Elijah's confidence impact our team. You're seeing a much more confident Pharrell and Dawson even, and Braden and Mike. Well, they get it from those two guys, and you have to have that in your team. I want those guys to have that competitive ego, Now when you win, expect to play well, right? Expect to have outcomes like this, especially at home, when you're just going to figure it out and find a way to win.
You touched on this yesterday, but another example of your team being able to problem solve?
Yeah, I think it was, I thought the first half we couldn't get a shot to fall. I have to look on film to see how many of them were bad ones. I thought we played a little tight. I thought we were a little wound up, and we weren't our natural self. But yeah, it was still, I think, a 5-point game. And so we just talked about at halftime, we gotta play loose. Like, you gotta let them hang a little bit. You gotta play loose, and they did that. And when you play free and you just worry about effort, I think the offense will come. But this was a game where we knew, because of how they defend and how they guard, that we're gonna have to win with our defense. And we did that, and I think we ended up out-rebounding them after being down 4 at halftime, which is a big part. Was able to get to the free throw line and convert in the second half, which was big, especially when you've got like a 1 or 2 point lead. To be able to maintain that lead, or to tie it, or to go up 1 was huge.
How much was Parker's energy left in the first half?
It was great. It was great. He came in, and that's what he does. It's you try to find minutes for him, and it's hard when you've got so many bigs that can do stuff and perform, especially when Dawson and Pharrell are playing at such a high level. But I have all the confidence in the world in Parker, and so I just know when I can put him in there, whether it's for whatever he played 18 minutes today, or if it's 5 minutes, he's going to do what he does, and he keeps our offense moving. He's smart. So defensively, he's going to make adjustments on his own. But I thought the lift and the energy he had, and again, he's another confidence guy. When he's out there, I think guys have confidence in our offense because he keeps the ball moving. Guys have confidence in our defense because he's a communicator. And so the more guys you can have out there that other players look at and they gain confidence from, I think that's a sign of a team that's really improving and growing.
You mentioned, Cam's confidence, but did you expect him to be kind of where he is even right now, kind of hitting those big shots, taking those big shots in moments?
I did. So people probably thought I was crazy in the Missouri game, right? And now you guys are understanding why I did it. Because I've seen it. I've seen it in the summer, and I've seen it in the fall. That's who he is. And so, when I drew those 2 plays up for him, or that one really, and the other one was a read, but when I drew that one play up for him, because of that's who he is. And, I think, again, when you put in that much work that he does, these results don't surprise people that see him every day.
Ben, is tonight, you talked about the crowd, but is tonight a reminder what this building can be?
100%. Somebody involved in the game came up to me and said, they've been here a lot of times and they hadn't seen it like this. Just again, with the energy and the buzz and the people. And I think that's a testament to these guys. Like when you play a fun style and you're competitive and you can win, the fans will eventually show up and come. And again, credit to the ones that have been here from day one. But it just makes such a difference when it's an environment like it was tonight. I cannot reiterate that enough.
Ben, you're up to 6 Big Ten wins now, and your first 2 seasons you had 6 wins combined. So what does that say just about the direction where this program could be headed?
Yeah, so we're growing. We're process driven. We're growing. Credit to these guys because they developed and they've gotten better. Again, last year we took our lumps and we were young, and we played young guys probably because we had to. Well, you gotta kind of get through the suck, but this is the benefit of it because those guys aren't really sophomores. They've experienced so much and they've been through so much, and so now I think you're seeing mature sophomores. You're seeing a Dawson that's been in a program for the first time ever, back-to-back years with the same coach. You're seeing an older Isaiah and Parker who've been in our program for 2 years that are now able to rise up. And you're bringing transfers in now that are older, that have been through it, but now understand it. And so I just think it's a credit to those guys, allowing us to coach them every day, and they have no ego. I mean, you tell them to do something, they're gonna do it, and they believe. They believe in each other. They believe in what we're doing. And as long as we can stay process driven and worry about the details, not get lost in our way, and stay grounded and understand who we are, I like our chances.
Ben, I've got to ask you, obviously growing up as a Minnesota kid, playing here, being an assistant coach here, you just alluded to, Tom Izzo being an absolute legend. What would 12-year-old Ben Johnson think about you beating Tom Izzo right now, and how do you personally feel about this?
I'll say this, it was a little weird when you know a guy for so long, right? And he actually recruited me twice. He recruited me out of high school, and then when I transferred, I took a visit there before I committed here. He recruited me again. And then when I was a GA, my first job was with Brian Gregory, who's one of his best friends. So in a weird way, what he does and what they do as a program, I've always kind of modeled myself after that a little bit. Obviously, I know it works, and I've seen it firsthand. So to be able to compete against him, I think I'm appreciative because it makes me better. All these guys in this league make me so much better, and I've grown each year as a younger coach. And to be able to lean on them and talk to these guys and ask questions and pick their brain, and for them to give me feedback, never claim at all to have all the answers. So to be able to test myself against these guys and against a coach like him, again, I'm just thankful for it because it's made me grow as a coach and as a man and as a leader.
Why did you say no to him?
Well, the first time, I think he wanted me to redshirt and I wanted to play. They were loaded and I wanted to play right away. I didn't have the patience like most young kids. So that was, and then, honestly, the second time I was there for a weekend, and Brian Gregory, the coach that recruited me to Northwestern, was still an assistant there. And we talked, and I was close, and he actually told me to come here, to be honest. I probably was going to come here anyways, but no, that was it. He said, you need to do the right thing, and that's to go back home and go to Minnesota. So.
In the second half, I think you guys were down 9. I think there was a timeout there. What was kind of the message there to you guys?
Yeah, we just needed to regroup, Thought we were kind of sped up, and it was a regroup timeout. It was a timeout because I felt like that momentum was on their side and we needed to dead the momentum, and then we had to have a good possession defensively and offensively. So it gives you a chance to talk about, make sure defensive coverages were right, and then we had to get a good shot. So now it's dialing up something where everybody's on the same page, and it's like, all right, we get a score here, we're good. And just to kind of re-energize those guys with confidence about, just score, stop, score, stop.
What do you see from your guys in the huddle, body language?
No, it's been
you see
phenomenal.
maturity?
Yeah, no, we talk about being a mature team all the time, and especially in the second half, our timeouts and huddle have been phenomenal. The amount of belief and faith, it's a little scary because it's almost like, all right, fellas, like I still want urgency now, but they believe they're going to figure it out. They believe they're going to find a way. There's never a doubt. I mean, it's from Dawson on down to Will Ramberg. Like, everybody believes, everybody's dialed in, everybody's, looking and focused and asking questions and making sure they break the huddle and everybody's on the same page. And I think that's just a product of winning. Like, now there's an expectation, which is what we talk about, a standard. Now there's an expectation of performing well. There's an expectation of figuring this out and being able to stay connected and being able to get third win in a row. And when you're like that, there is a good urgency to it, and guys are just locked in.
One or two more? Anybody?
Ben, how are you planning on keeping momentum going into Iowa, into Purdue?
First of all, I'm going to enjoy this one. I think that game's on Thursday, so I'm gonna finally enjoy one here, and then we gotta regroup and figure out Iowa. Obviously, they're a really good team that can score. I mean, they're a totally different team at home too. Like, you gotta almost be 10 points better with them. That's a tough place to play. So we're gonna definitely enjoy this. Give the guys a day off, and then we'll get back to our process.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I saw you were I was like, it's too hard, and I don't want it to be shaky,
Oh, you don't need bad video.
No, this is important.
I'll see you on Monday.
How are you?
Good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have jokes.
She's almost there.
He needs help with some jokes sometimes. I am. I think I'm winning too. She might. Wouldn't be too hard.
Can I take a shot in a couple of years?
Well, that meeting's at 10.
No, Derek can say what he says.
Oh,
I already texted.
okay. Whatever.
And I like him.
It's at 11:30. Oh, we're gonna do another kind of shoot. Oh, you're getting here before.
Dude, there's no report feed. The Parker like is Jay Willis and he runs.
It was more than 94.
Technically.
He had TV time earlier this week. He bought out today. Maybe I need to go back.
If I pick up at 10, that probably would be fine. Sure.
They said you can get her into but they may let
Oh, I thought you said 10.
No, she started off.
Gotcha.
They may let us film a little bit of practice, but Trinity's like,
Okay.
That dude's up 10:30 is just pick on stuff.
Trinity's like,
Go on, I'm done.
So what do you think?
I posted the show
yeah, you can retweet it right now.
within 5 seconds. That's all.
So you think 10:15, 10:30?
Yeah, it's in there.
10, okay. At your house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do this?
Producing.
If they
Do one for tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't, we're doing live show. Oh.
I'm meeting somebody. I'm definitely looking
I don't even know where to get her now.
What's up, guys?
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Ben left his strength. Secret sauce.
You did. You want me to hear you speak? We got Parker Fox and Cam Christie. Questions for either of the athletes?
Cam, just talk about the ending there, and obviously, getting revenge against the Michigan State. It felt pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a ton of fun to be able to play in that game. Obviously, they're a great program. They've been a historically great program. So, it's always a tough game to play against them. And then, just my brother playing there a few years ago just added to it. I know a lot of the guys that that played. They were all on the team when Max was there too. So it was just it was a really fun game, a really great environment. I'm just really happy that we were able to pull out the win.
How much did falling out on that game a couple weeks ago fuel you?
No, I mean, it definitely fueled me. I went into that game, with a chip on my shoulder, excited to play there, and then unfortunately, it got cut short due to me fouling out. So obviously, I had to make some adjustments. Make sure not to foul out this game again, because that would have been tragic. And then, just play, do what I do best. So.
Parker, when you see the energy from the crowd early on in this game, you're part of that. How did you overcome the stretches where you guys obviously lost the momentum a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody watches me play basketball, you can tell it feels me. It's I'm an emotional guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I play with a lot of emotion. And but I think that benefits me in the best way. I feed off that crowd. I was a person in that crowd. 3-4 years ago, even coming to basketball games and getting hyped for the team and giving them energy. And I'd love to give that back. I think it's so much bigger than me. It's so much bigger than our team. It's the reason why I came here. It's the reason why I decided to come back home and build something special. And the more people we get in the doors, the better, because this is a good feeling right now.
What does it mean to be on the winning side of these games? I know earlier in the season you guys had some tough losses, but what does it mean to persevere and finally get over the hump?
Yeah, I mean, my third year here now, and the first 2 years were tougher, and we didn't win many games, and you go in that locker room and it sucks. Like, losing's the worst, and now we're kind of got a couple games on the other side of that, and it's one of the greatest feelings in the world. I think when you go in that locker room and you just see the emotion from the guys, and you realize you're all in this together, and it's one big fight, and we're pushing towards one common goal. You just see guys, I get excited for this guy. He has, I don't even know what he had, he has 17, something like that. I get excited for him because I knew that this one meant something to him, and then I get excide for a guy like Pharrell Payne, who has a big game, and Dawson Garcia made a big 3 down the stretch. Just getting excited for the guys on your left and to your right, and it's just I think that's the way you have to approach it.
Parker, you talk about the locker room. What is it, kind of the wrestling belt meant to kind of have that tradition now?
Yeah, I think it's pretty sweet. You look at a lot of programs, NBA, they give game balls, that kind of stuff. You see that all the time. I like the way we've kind of approached it with the wrestling belt, the Warrior belt, because it's not necessarily about how many points you scored. It's not necessarily about how many rebounds you had. It's, who kind of stepped up. And I think every game you can kind of tell who's going to win that one. I think it's, for me at least, being a part of it, I can tell, who's going to win that one. You can tell this guy was going to win it today, just the way he stepped up, made big shots down the stretch for us. And, I think it's a cool way to kind of celebrate who was kind of that warrior for us, because that's what we want to be. We want to be that tough team, that team that's full with a bunch of warriors. And I feel like if we can do that, we can continue to win ball games.
Cam, can you talk about your confidence level? It seemed like tonight you made big shot after big shot, and then when your team needed it most, they called some plays for you. What's it like being that freshman that they're calling on right now?
You know, it's a great feeling. You know, obviously these are moments, these are games that you dream of playing in as a kid. You know, playing in high-level Big Ten basketball against a team like Michigan State. You know, these are things that you really wish for. And so, you know, when the moment comes, you know, you can't let it be too big. You know, you've worked too hard to be nervous. So just knowing to go in there. You know, believe in myself, trust in myself. Obviously, you know, my teammates trusting me, my coaches trusting me, and it means a lot to have them, you know, backing me and things like that. So, you know, just remaining confident with every single shot and knowing that no matter what happens, you know, I have a family behind me that supports me.
Parker, were there any moments where you saw Cam's fearlessness, maybe winter's week or off some workouts, anything like that you kind of your eyes?
Yeah, I see it every day. You know, I think just the way he approaches everything he does, you know, forget about basketball, the way he approaches life, you know, the kind of dude he is off the court, the kind of dude he is when, you know, he's hanging out with us in the dorms and all that kind of stuff. Like, I truly believe that good things happen to good people, and, you know, he's a good dude, and he goes about it the right way. He approaches it the right way. He cares about his teammates. He passes up shots for other guys, you know, to score. And then when the moment comes, he makes big shots. You know, like, I feel like when Cam Christie's shooting a shot down the stretch, it's going in, and then there's no way it's going to even touch the rim. It's just straight cash. So, you know, I think the way he's approached it with his work, and, you know, he's a guy that's relentlessly in the gym. We're a team with a group full of guys that are relentlessly in the gym, but he's one of the guys that leads it, and you know, I'm proud and happy for him.
Do you feel like that three that you took was going in?
I did, honestly. Yeah, I don't know if Dave Thorson loved that one, but I feel like you know, that one was like, you know, I'm playing in the flow. I got a big block, and, you know, playing with flow, and I caught it in rhythm and shot it, and, you know, I've worked on my game for a long time now, and I thought it was cash, but unfortunately we just get back on defense with the next one.
People talk a lot about Elijah's winning history.
Yeah.
You won obviously in Division II. I mean, I know it's a different level, but do you sense anything about this team that you can see that, you know, there's some winner's mentality there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's weird because I think there's a stat that came out that said we're last in the Big Ten in first half, and we're first in the Big Ten second half point differential. I remember a lot of my times at Northern being in the locker room. I mean, maybe it was a close game, maybe we were down 2, and just like feeling, oh, we're gonna win this game. And I had that same feeling today. You know, I've had that same feeling, you know, the last couple games, and it's like it's that kind of that fight that we're gonna do whatever it takes to win the basketball game. And if we come up short and, you know, they have more points than we do, then, you know, you tip your cap to them and you get back to work for the next one. But, you know, I just feel like we got a group of guys that want to go out there and play for one another, and that's when it becomes a, you know, really beautiful thing.
One or two more for
Cam, it
players.
seems like you know, you're finding your groove more and more every game. And Coach was talking yesterday about defensively too, kind of how you've been able to adjust, you know, Big Ten and physicality. I guess kind of just all around. How do you feel about where your game's at?
You know, I feel confident. You know, as I said in an earlier time up here, you know, it's just, you know, remaining confident in all the work that you put in, no matter what happens. You know, you have a great game, you have a bad game, it doesn't matter. You have to stay at the same level. You can never get too high or too low, because every single time, you know, it's a new game every single time. So just, you know, being able to adapt and adjust and things like that. Obviously, defense is a big part of basketball. You have to be able to play both sides of the ball, and defense carries. You know, no matter how well you're playing on offense, no matter how many points you're scoring, defense is always something that you can rely on. It brings a lot of energy to the team. So that's been something I've definitely focused on recently. But, you know, just trying to improve all aspects of my game. You know, just doing whatever it takes to help the team win.
For either of you, how about the crowd tonight? I mean, what kind of look did that guys give you? The barnyard, they had the gold jerseys out, the place was going nuts down the stretch. You guys are 13-3 at home this season. Just what kind of lift did that give you guys tonight?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I, you know, come to expect from Gopher basketball. You know, growing up, being a part of it, you know, being a fan. It's like, you know, this is what you want, and then as a player, like, selfishly, you want more, and it's like, you know, you gotta win games, and you know, you gotta keep putting yourself in position where people want to come watch you play. But it was pretty loud tonight. I think probably one of the loudest that I've heard. And then at the right times, too, you know, getting behind us on the defensive end, and you know, cheering for big blocks and rebounds, and you know, I think basketball is a pretty important thing in the state of Minnesota, and you know, I'm hoping it continues, and I'm hoping we continue to get more fans in the crowd and continue to cheer us on, because I think that, you know, and I said it before, I'll say it again, you know, I think the Barn is one of the most special places in college basketball, especially when the crowd's behind it.
Parker, I've got to ask you, I mean, you obviously had energy sitting on the bench being injured. Then you had energy off the bench, and now you're really making changes in the game. And you're actually being talked about on Michigan State boards right now as just being fantastic. How have you never let any of these losses or anything get you down? Because you've always been that spark for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I've gone through so much worse than not playing minutes and worrying about myself and putting my head down and blaming it on something else. Like I've been through way worse, and I've worked too hard to let that kind of stuff kind of deteriorate my attitude and my approach. And that's not even to basketball. That's to life. The way you approach life, and and being able to kind of see it pay off is pretty sweet. I grew up, like you guys know, I love basketball. I love the Big Ten. Like the fact that Tom Izzo looks me in the eyes and tells me like I made an impact, like that's like the biggest thing in the world. Like all the respect to him and their program. But I think just coming out there and just being myself and just authentically being who I am and trusting my teammates and just being able to just be me and go and have fun with it. And I think if you watch me play, you can tell that I have a lot of fun doing it because it's my favorite thing in the world.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You can tell that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Good job,
Appreciate
guys.
you guys.
Start hearing the
Congratulations.
7th year chants.
Yeah. I don't know if anything is gonna be possible. Appreciate you guys. How was it?